The saga describes Gunhild employing various forms of magic against Egil. She sends storms to wreck his ships. She uses spells to make him lose his way. She even, according to some interpretation, attempts to use Seidr, a form of Norse magic often associated with the manipulation of fate, to bring about his death. But Egil is not without his own defenses. He is a skilled warrior, a cunning strategist, and as we'll see, he is not afraid to use magic himself. The most famous example of this is the Knighting Pole incident. After killing Bergonund and escaping from Norway, Egil finds himself on a small island. Knowing that Gunhild's wrath will follow him, he decides to take a drastic step. He erects a Knighting Pole, a powerful curse directed at his enemies. The saga describes this ritual in detail. Egil takes a hazel pole and places a horse's head on top. He then carves runes into the pole, invoking the land spirits and the gods to return against King Eirik and Queen Gunhild. He then speaks the curse aloud, his words filled with venom and defiance. Here I set up a Knighting Pole, and turned this curse against King Eirik and Queen Gunhild. I turned this curse against the land spirits of this country, so that they shall all wander lost, and none shall find his home, until they have driven King Eirik and Queen Gunhild out of Norway. The Knighting Pole was a powerful form of symbolic magic. It was a way of declaring your hatred for your enemies, of calling down misfortune upon them. The horse's head was likely a particularly potent symbol, perhaps associated with death or the underworld. The runes carved into the pole would have further amplified the curse's power. This act of magical defiance is a turning point in the feud between Egil and Gunhild. It's a declaration of war, not just on a personal level, but on a spiritual one as well. Egil is essentially saying, you may have the power of the throne, but I have the power of the old gods. And the curse seems to work, at least to some extent. Eirik and Gunhild are eventually driven from Norway, forced into exile in England, while their downfall can be attributed to various political and military factors. The saga suggests that Egil's curse played a role, that the land spirits themselves turned against the king and queen. But even in exile, Gunhild's hatred for Egil does not diminish. She continues to plot against him, to seek his death. And as fate, or perhaps the magic of the Knighting Pole, would have it, Egil soon finds himself shipwrecked on the very shores of England, where Eirik and Gunhild now hold court.